Hello everybody, it's Klein here. Um, I have not done a video in a while, but I'm here and I want to update you guys on what I'm up to, what I am purchasing, and then a little bit of a thought that I've been rattling around in my brain for a while now. So let's start with my current whips. So I don't know if you guys would know if you saw my Instagram lately. I haven't really been talking about this, but I have been bitten by the sock bug at last. So this is the first sock that I've made in quite a while. The first ever pair of socks I made was way too big for me. The second pair was way too small. And this is now my third pair. Hopefully this fits. I am also going for a sock class with Lauren from Little Young Craft on the 16th of June. I'm super excited for that. So if you guys want to sign up for it, there's still time. So do come join me if you feel like it. But yeah, so this is its first one. And before I get given some gas for not having done the second one, look how far I am with the second one. So I am almost done with the cable repeat, and then it's just the cuff, and then I'm done. So I'm super excited about this. The yarn is the Q3 queso box of 2022 by Naughty Habit. Funny story about this one. So we were running a yarn swap table at the Crafting for Chalk event, and Lauren came to put this into the pool, this particular yarn. And then AJ decided, oh, she loves it. So she swapped something for it, and I swapped somebody else for some cowboy blues. And then at the end of the event, AJ was like, oh, I really like this cowboy blues. And I'm like, oh, I really like your sock yarn. So we ended up swapping each other. So that's how I got this yarn. I'm very happy that I did, because funny enough, AJ also has this particular yarn that she bought last year, and she immediately cast it on. So she has a sock that is like a different pattern but the same yarn, and it's quite fascinating to see how the yarn changes over like a year's worth of wearing. It's very interesting. Then my next project is, surprise surprise, also a sock. This one is a test knit. It is for Susan Knitman. I think it's Susan. I might be wrong with that, but if it is, I'll just put a something somewhere. It is called the Unsinkable Socks. So I'm doing it in a colorway like this. This is Esteriza Yarns Autumn Sock Collection. So it's got this beautiful, let me just swap it around so you can see my ends. It's got this beautiful cabled pattern that's on both sides, and then as it goes down, the cable pattern is only on the top. So I'm very excited for this. Speaking of this sock set, the new theme for the next month is by the fireplace. I'm very excited for that colorway. So go get it if you don't want to miss out, because once it's gone, it's gone. Then my next whip is, you might need to cover your eyes for this because it's hella bright. So this one is the Citation Shawl by Casapinka. So the yarn is hella bright. It's by Luna Fibers. The one's name is It's a Whole Vibe, and the other one is The Color of Moxie or something like that. But yeah, it's lovely. It works out with these patterns. I did change the pattern a little bit in this section because I didn't like how it was working out. It was a bit too tight, so I just adjusted it. And Sharon Snacks, as Casapinka calls it, when you make things different. But yeah, it is a lovely pattern that keeps changing stitches all the way down, and it will become a semi-asymmetrical arrow-shaped shawl. So yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Then my third whip that I'm currently working on is a windsurfer. Now, this one, we visited Yarny beginning of May, and she worked up the Esteriza's what's it called? Advent set. There we go. She worked it up into a windsurfer shawl. So it is something that goes from one color to the other color throughout. So I was so inspired by how it felt and what it looked like that I decided, my golly, I need one too. So I am busy working on one. I am now on my 4th mini color. I bought 20-gram bippies from Esriza with a full skein color. So the full skein is this one. I'm currently at the point where my mini ran out, so I need to start with the new mini over here. And yeah, you just carry on, and if you run out, you attach a new color, even if it's mid-row. It's fine. This is a go with the flow type of project. But I am loving this fabric. I'm loving the look. I'm loving everything about it. And then we have acquisitions, my favorite part. So one of my new acquisitions was the autumn sock set, but what I did get with it as well is their bouquet sock set. So this one is one that I saw from AJ and I absolutely loved it. So they did re-dye this one for me, especially. So I'm very grateful. But yeah, this one is also very special in that they actually had to do a re-dye for it initially, and now they did another re-dye, so that it is something that they are managing to replicate quite closely, surprisingly, because this is quite a complex colorway, and I'm just in love. So I'm still looking for the perfect sock pattern for this. I have ideas, but yeah, it'll come when it's ready, right? My next acquisition is Naughty Habit. So I'm only showing you parts because it's colors, but I've got sweater quantities of these. So I've bought 3 of these packs, and then I can't remember, 2 or 3 of this one. I think it's also 3. So that it makes up 600 grams of yarn, which is sweater quantity for moi. So these colors are her Constance colors, and it was just too cute in a little packaging. So funny enough, one of these packets are enough if you want to make a stria with it for the stripy parts, and then you just need 4 or 5, maybe 6 of another solid color, which is what I purchased this for. However, this one didn't have enough solid colors, so I decided, you know what, we're making thick stripes. So that's what this will become eventually, one day when I have time. And then my last acquisition that I've done this month is from Luna Fibers. Now, the very bright yarn that you guys saw with my whip, that was from a swap, and I have bought from Luna before, and I didn't quite like how it was working up, personally. Like it's very much a personal thing. Like you guys know, I have like sensory problems, smell problems, all sorts of sensitivities. So I didn't quite enjoy it, which is fine. But having now swapped for that yarn, because now I had the opportunity to see the yarn in person, to smell it, to feel it, to like experience it, and I realized that whatever it was that was not sitting well with me, Luna changed it. So now I'm actually capable of using her yarn and being happy to use it. So yes, what I did buy, I went a little bit crazy, is this beautiful mini set. So this is the Moody Pops, and it's about 120 grams of yarn, so it's 20 grams each. And oh, isn't it lovely? So what I want to do is pair this set with this yarn, which is called Jitter. And in the skein, it is actually not doing this yarn justice, because if you open it up, there is so much color on the inside. So everywhere where you see these like color pops coming through, if you actually like open it, there's so much more going on inside there. I mean, look at that. So I can't wait to see this balled up. I think that this skein is going to look vastly different than what it does. And yeah, that's my plan. Okay, so the last one is a sock set. So this one, it's called the Orange Blossom. It is absolutely stunning. So this sock set is 100% merino. It doesn't have a nylon component in it. And I did a little bit of reading up around it, and what I have found is that it's okay to use yarn that is 100% merino that doesn't have nylon, but you do need to keep it in mind. So you can't make a sock that is like, as we say in Afrikaans, nommerpas, where your toes is right up against the edge, because your toenails is going to scuff it and cause issues because there's not that nylon component to make it stronger. So you need to make your sock just a little bit longer so that there is that breathing room, so that your toes doesn't push up all the way against your sock. And then you got to keep in mind that it might work through on the heel a little bit faster if you are hard wearing on socks. So thankfully for me, I live my life in snoozies if I can. So I think that this will be just lovely for socks. So yeah, that's it for acquisition. Now, the last part that I want to talk about is spinning. I have finished this yarn last night. I'm going to be posting it on my Insta just now. It is possibly the most beautiful yarn that I have spun my entire life, like easily. So I'm going to hold it up so you guys can see. It is so stunning. So this yarn, I have been trying to spin woolen for a while now. I've tried through Rolex, I tried from the fold, I tried from the braid directly, I tried all sorts of ways, and I've gotten quite comfortable with the supported long draw that is necessary for it. But on Monday past, I was at our four-ways craft night, and a lady came to join us called Pascal, and oh man, what a lovely soul. So she shared with us how she likes to spin, in that she doesn't want to spin thin because you're just sitting there. I laughed so much with her expressions. Oh, she's a gem. So that got me thinking, like, I always try and spin as thin as I possibly can, and then I apply it in order to get it to a thicker one. And I asked myself, why do that? So this particular one, I spun woolen, but after I split the roving into like several parts, not just like twice or 4 times. It was like 8 or so per like section. And I know like a lot of people are going to go like, oh my gosh, you can't do that. How do you draft? Just a little. That's what you do. You draft just a little. But it made this gorgeous yarn. It is so squishy. It is so smooth, despite being woolen spun. It is just, this is everything I ever wanted out of life. And it all came from Pascal and being inspired by her. And yeah, love it. So yeah, that very nicely segues into what I want to talk about in my, what shall we call it? Itsy Klein Hearts Talks. This is going to be my special segment in my Yarny updates, where I want to talk about my thoughts on a particular subject. So this particular one is about community and the impact that it can have on you as a person. So some of it is driven by the 2 podcasts that I listened today, like semi coincidental. These were the topics. So one of it was the Pardon My Stashes podcast, that they talked about taking a break from purchasing yarn. And then the other one was Stoic Coffee Break, which we're talking about change and how it affects you personally and how you deal with it, and how move past it. So I'm going to be linking both of those below because they are heavily insightful and really nice. And I'm not going to be rehashing all of the topics within it, even though I'm going to be incorporating some of the thoughts that I like crystallized through these two podcasts. So with community, what I've learned is that community affects the way that you think about things and the way that you see things, and it can also inspire you or it can hold you back. And sometimes it is extremely hard to find community because with some of the communities, they are, I don't know how to phrase it. It's almost like rules of engagement. And it's not necessarily driven by age or by culture or by anything else. It's just that certain communities gravitate towards certain concepts more than what others do. So you guys know myself. I'm very much a free spirit that just runs around and do whatever she wants all day long. And I find it very hard to understand people that want to do things very precisely, that don't allow themselves to make mistakes, that do the same thing repetitively. Like, I really struggle to do the same thing. Like, that's why I was such a blocker with socks, because you got to do the same thing twice. The horror. So I really struggle to identify with those types of people, but those types of people are just different from me. It doesn't mean they're wrong, and it doesn't mean that what works for them has to work for me, right? And I feel like with a lot of communities, that is sort of the expectation, that it becomes this like-minded hive mind kind of thing where everybody expects everybody to be the same, to have the same expectations, to have the same approach to problem solving, to have the same moral values, to have the same ethos. And it sort of like closes you off from growth, because you'll reach like the maximum of what your community allows, and then you'll just bop around at that point. You're never going to challenge yourself more. You're never going to go out of your comfort zone. You're never going to experience something different than what you have been experiencing up until now, because it becomes comfortable. Because for us as humans, change is scary. Whenever we have to move house, it is so daunting to us. You do so much research. Which house am I going to get? Like, what is the neighborhood like? What can I expect from like my neighbors? Is it a young crowd or is it an old crowd? Like, you do all of these things because you want something that's similar to what you have right now. And it is absolutely human to want to stay there. But I do feel that to challenge yourself to change, to challenge yourself to think differently about your own biases, your own assumptions, your own way of doing things, it can be healthy too. Because sometimes you learn something that you thought was a closed door to you, like with the spinning. I've been trying so hard to get this type of yarn, like forever. And one discussion has opened that door for me. And that discussion happened 100% because I opened up myself to doing something I would never do. Like, I would never go to a place and I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know the people who's going to be there. I knew 2 people that was there out of the 6. So it was terrifying to some degree to me. But I'm so glad I went, because the impact that that discussion had, that single discussion, is so big. And I feel like the same goes for a lot of different things, because with the lunar fibers as well, if I didn't make that trade where I was able to feel the yarn, smell the yarn, experience the yarn before I decided to trade, And because the colors was just so over the top, wow, Katrina colors as AJ calls it. If it wasn't for that, I would not have bought this beautiful mini set and the jitter that goes with it, with this gorgeous plan for this diamond walk shore. I'm very excited. Like, I constantly have to no, finish one thing and then you can cast it on the whole time. And I'm probably going to break that rule. But my socks are always finished. It counts, right? Yes, it counts. Anyway, coming back, if I didn't have that experience where I challenged my own biases, this wouldn't have happened. And I'm so excited. And yeah, I think that bottom line, I think that everybody should go through life with only love and openness, and never say never. Never close yourself off. Never say that, ooh, Gertruida does not do that. Because you're limiting yourself. You are closing yourself off from beautiful experiences that might be just the ticket to experiencing something new and exciting. I think my camera cut me off there. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to be saying. I am going to start rambling now and rehashing and saying stuff in ways that does not make sense. So I'm going to be stopping my video here, and yeah, let me know what you guys think about this concept around community and new experiences. Like, both of those, it sort of goes hand in hand for me. Let me know what your experiences are, and how you feel about these ideas, and whether you find value in these hot talks. Because I really like having philosophical ideas about things that's adjacent to how I live my life, if that makes sense. And I would love to build a community based on that, because I do think that everybody have their own opinions to share, and every opinion is valuable, if not for the simple fact that it might be different than yours and get you thinking in a different way. And yeah, that's the beauty of you living this life on this planet Earth. So thank you for watching, if you made it all the way through to here. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.